It's time now for the Casey Ingram Show on WSTU. The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. And now, here's Casey Ingram.
Good morning and welcome back. I have the second podcast and pre-recording for the radio show tomorrow. I'm very proud to have in the studio this morning Senator Gayle Harrell. Senator, you are a repeat guest, and it's always wonderful to have you here in the studio. And the show will air tomorrow morning, WSTU AM 1450 at 10 a.m. as always. But today, if you're joining us with Facebook, you can join the pre-recording of the show, which is live on Facebook. And
wonderful.
Senator Harrell, there's so many different things that are going on here after session and before session, and we were just talking how quickly this year flies by, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I want to thank one of my main sponsors, which is Indiantown Marina. It is one of South Florida's best boat storage facilities located inland on the Okeechobee Waterway, and it's a very well-protected hurricane hull. Folks, it's still right in the middle of hurricane season. If you haven't reserved your place, I cannot recommend enough. Make sure you do that today. You'll want to give them a call at 772-597-2457. Have peace of mind. Once a hurricane is named, I pretty much can tell you're probably not going to find a place in this town to keep your boat. So peace of mind, reserve your spot today, and also it's a do-it-yourself or full-service boat yard. So if you need any work done on your boat, perfect place to do it, Indiantown Marina. So give those good folks a call, 597-2457, or visit them online, indiantownmarina.com. Senator Harrell, usually she's upstairs in the WSTU studio, so I appreciate you coming down to the fairgrounds, my new home.
This is wonderful to come to the fairgrounds. I was just here last night, as a matter of fact. Yes, for a 4-H meeting.
Oh, tell us what you were doing. That's fun.
Well, I was doing my bubblegum bill. I was invited to come and give all the students, all the 4-Hers, a little example on how an idea that they might have become a law, how they did it, the whole process. And we used the example of, don't you think everyone should have bubblegum every day in school? And we walked through the whole process of how that idea would become a law and how it would change and how you would have to kind of accommodate amendments and compromise and deal with the reality of the fiscal impact.
Yes.
And the whole thing. And we went through that. And at the end of the day, I always give them a piece of bubble gum.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that, Senator Harrell, though, because that's like one of these things that's kind of out in the abyss. What happens when everybody goes to Tallahassee or wherever their capital is in their state? What happens? And y'all go away, y'all come back, and what goes on up there? And to understand how laws are enacted, and it does take a lot of compromise, doesn't it?
It takes a lot of compromise, a lot of working together, a lot of finding common ground and solutions.
Yes.
If you're solution-oriented, and you have to learn that you don't eat the apple at the one bite. It's kind of little bit by little bit by little bit. And that's how you eventually get things done.
I've heard that saying, how do you eat a whale? One bite at a time.
I always say apple.
Apple sounds better than a whale, by the way. So yes. I've never had whale, come to think about it. So not sure anybody that does. But there are a lot of things that happen up in Tallahassee. And speaking of educating people, one of the things we wanted to talk about today is empowering women in politics. So you have a very special guest that's coming down this weekend to Martin County.
Yes, we are so delighted that we will be having the Lieutenant Governor, Jeanette Nunez, coming to Martin County and really talking about empowering women in politics. And having been in politics for a very long time, and really wanting to encourage more women to get engaged. And we bring a somewhat of a different perspective, and we can make such a difference in Tallahassee or locally, whether it's on your school board, whether on your county commission, whether it is at the state level or the national level. I think it's so important that we get women involved in politics.
I always said if women ruled the world, it'd be a whole different and better place.
I love it. But she's coming, the Women's Federated Group, Republican Women's Federated Group, is hosting her, and it'll be this coming Saturday at Martin Downs Country Club. And if you want to get a ticket, I know this is not going to be on the radio until tomorrow, So tomorrow's going to be the deadline.
Okay,
so
folks.
you hear this tomorrow. I need you to go and sign up. And you can go to tcwrcf.org and sign up. Or go to the Facebook page for the Republican Women, the Treasure Coast Republican Women's Club. And you, tcwrcf.org.
tcwrcf.org. And we have that, if you're on Facebook, we have that in the comments right now. You can just click on the link.
Yes, click on the link and you can go and sign up. But tomorrow's the deadline.
Tomorrow's the deadline.
So go ahead and do it. She is going to be there from 11 to 2, and you can do VIP or you can just do general admission. And it includes lunch, and you'll have the opportunity to hear the Lieutenant Governor and to meet lots of good people. Lots of local legislators will be there as well.
And how exciting. This is right here in Martin County. And folks, it's only $50 for the lunch, and if you want the higher sponsor package, it's only $75, and that includes hors d'oeuvres and some beverages and a photo.
Yes, and a photo with the Lieutenant Governor.
So this is very exciting, and I love it when people come to Martin County. We're the mouse that roars, right? We're small, but we're mighty. So it's fantastic, and I appreciate that she's coming here, and I appreciate you coming here to let us all know about it.
Well, I am so excited. I love having a woman in as Lieutenant Governor, and she's been so effective. I served with her back in 2010. We were elected together. We were freshmen, the second time around for me. And we were elected in 2010. So I served with her all through 8 years in the House. And she is so effective. She is just downright warm and honest and just such a wonderful person. And she's gotten a lot done. She's made human trafficking a major focal point while she was in the legislature and then also as Lieutenant Governor. She's been very involved in healthcare issues, and
as you are as well,
as I am as well, and she's really been an advocate for children.
And Senator Harrell, that's something that surprised me. I've done shows on this in the past, but the human trafficking and what a high rate there is even in our area.
Oh yes, very much so.
It's a shocking thing. So anything to bring that to light is super important. Let's talk just a second here. I love having you here in the office, and you've been a senator, you've been a representative, you've seen a lot through politics, and you talked about women, getting them more empowered and getting involved. What changes have you seen? You've spent, it's close to 20 years, right?
Yeah, over 20 years, yes.
You've seen a lot of changes.
I've seen a tremendous
tell us about
change.
That.
And from my perspective, I've seen how things have really worked from a female point of view. And I can say we have the most number of women in the legislative process now that we have ever had. And it's changed the dynamics because we are problem solvers. And I think that's the essential. We come in, and as I just said earlier, on the bubblegum bill, you don't get things done like that. You have to do it incrementally. You have to address the problem and really work together to find solutions. And I think it's changed over the years. I love being in the Senate because we have a smaller group. We're only 40, and the camaraderie, the exchange of ideas, the ability to move things through is much easier than in the House. But bringing that woman's perspective, empowering women in politics, is very much, I've seen that change over 20 years. There are only 5 women in my class, on Republican side, in the class we were elected in, which was the beginning of term limits in 2000. In 2000, when I was first elected.
Isn't that something? Okay.
Yes. And now, the numbers have increased dramatically, and it is a change. And I think it's a change for the positive.
And a little exciting to see over the years as you're there, to see kind of the different faces that come through. And I agree with you, women do bring a different perspective. And there's just something, and we're women, so we can say this, but there's just something we bring. And I'll have to say, I was just giving folks an update on the fair, and one of the things I'm going to bring in is a locals green market, farmers market kind of thing. And it's very exciting, and I mentioned it to you, and you have been just as excited about it as well. And I love that. And that's what we women do. We're like, wait, yeah, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea. We can do that. And you know, again, on the political level, when you look at, we have a female president of the Senate,
Yes.
Senator Pasadomo, and the House, for the first time ever in the history of the state of Florida, has a speaker designate who will be female.
That is amazing. First time ever.
Yes, Jennifer Kennedy, in I guess it's 4 years from now, will be speaker.
Congratulations. That's
Yes,
exciting.
That's exciting.
It's fun to see women, you know, that are getting empowered and moving into these different places. Not to my recollection, but has there ever been a woman governor in Florida?
No, there's been 2 female lieutenant governors.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. So there's something we're going to have to work on.
Yes, yes. We've had previous presidents of the Senate who were female.
Yes.
But we've never had a House Speaker who is female. So now that's on the horizon, coming in.
So this is going to be exciting, this luncheon here
to have
this
the
weekend.
lieutenant governor here is going to be wonderful.
Yes.
You know, but back to your fairground issue. You know, I'm so excited that the fairground is going to really expand and bring a new dynamic. You know, it won't be a once-a-year project.
No.
It's going to be year-round, and you're going to have events there. You're going to have, I love green markets.
Yes,
you know,
I do
love
too.
green markets. and really bring activity out to Indiantown.
I'm so excited, and I have to confess to everybody that I have reached out to my Treasure Coast legislative delegation, which is Senator Harrell, Representative Toby Overdorf, and Representative John Snyder, and the 3 of them have been incredibly supportive. I'm going to be asking them for help through appropriations. We don't know that involves the whole state, but they are so supportive. They're going to help me through that process. And matter of fact, this Thursday, you have the Treasure Coast
Yes, we have
delegation.
Treasure Coast delegation meeting, and I would encourage people to come if they would like to. It'll be down at IRSC. And really, if there are issues, if you haven't signed up already, you need to have signed up. And we'll be hearing from many, many groups. But it's always, we do open to the public at the end, and you can come and present your issue and come talk to us directly. For me, the delegation meetings are so important. We need to hear from the community. And we are your representatives. We are there to bring your voice to Tallahassee. So, you know, come to the delegation meeting if you have specific things that you want addressed. We'll be hearing from lots of local groups, and certainly our local government, the county and the city of Stewart. Our school board will be there presenting. I know Cleveland Clinic will be presenting because we do have some issues on maternal infant care that we're going to start to talk about. But we will be addressing what the local concerns are and what we need to do in Tallahassee, and you need to get your message to us. And we would love to have you come.
And folks, you also have a representative from the fair, wink, wink, there.
Absolutely. Yes.
We'll be there. But folks, honestly, this is the place where ideas are born and made, and legislatures hear from you, and all of a sudden, it might be one person, might be more than one person, and you think, you know what, that is something we should tackle on a state level. And they don't know about it unless we don't come out and let them know. I've heard different issues, public records requests, how long they take or what's involved there. Boating is another issue. You know, should there be lights on the buoys, or should you wear a life vest be required? There's just different things. How about somebody that has to take a test to make sure that they know how to operate a boat no matter what age you are? There's a lot of issues. All you can do is bring it up to them. Doesn't mean it's going to get passed or not, but if you bring it up to you, then
opens
the
the doors to conversation. And then you can start looking at what all the impacts are.
Right.
You know, because lots of good ideas out there, and you know, people see things from a perspective, but you also have to say, what's the statewide impact,
right,
and how is it going to affect so many different groups? So it takes a lot of conversation to get things to a proper position where you can truly have the impact you want it to have.
It does, and there's, again, a lot of different issues like that. So it's a lot of fun, and I got to think from your perspective, all the things that are brought in front of you, and how do you decide which ones to tackle and which ones you want to bring into session?
Well, a lot of it depends on what you can really do about it. Are you the right venue to have that conversation? A lot of issues may be local, where perhaps you need to talk with your school board, or you need to talk with your county commissioners. Those kinds of things, we can help redirect. But also, if it's a statewide issue, we are there to hear it, and then we get input. And you have to have lots of input from different perspectives so that you can really craft legislation and write that legislation that's going to solve the problem. You got to agree on what the problem is to start with,
Right,
though.
right.
Sometimes that takes a lot of conversation. Okay, is there a problem? Yeah. Can we agree on the problem? Then what are the potential solutions? What are the ramifications of those solutions? And how we can truly implement it and measure it.
100%. And I'm going to bring up one that was your district encompasses down into Palm Beach County, up into St. Lucie County, and of course Martin County. So it's a very large district, as a lot of the senators' districts are. There was the bill last year, the SB 102, the Live Local Act. That's one that was really, a lot of the local governments said, wait a minute. But you guys saw a different perspective in Tallahassee because you're looking at, there's Miami, there's Martin County. Those are vastly different. And then you might go to a Citrus and Volusia County and different populations all over the state.
Right. We're a very diverse state. We're almost 23 million people. We are very diverse. And we have 1,200 people a day moving into Florida. Incredible. And we have a real housing crunch. There's no doubt. And we're pricing people out of the market. So how do you accommodate that, and how do you do something so that you are really helping people find a place to live? And we were looking very specifically at workforce. I mean, you can't have a business without workforce.
Right,
right. We need teachers, we need firemen, we need policemen, we need all kinds of workers out there. And they're getting priced out of the market. And they're having to commute long distances. So the emphasis was on live local. We put over $700 million that will be continuing for 10 years over into housing, workforce housing. And we have various programs through the Florida Housing Finance Corporation, and that money is going there to do low interest loans or no interest down payment loans to help people get in, first-time buyers to get into a home. We also are putting money into various kind of apartment buildings that they had to make a commitment. If a developer is going to do a workforce housing apartment, they would have to commit for 30 years that they would have lower rents,
affordable
housing. Rents, that people within a certain range of poverty, 120, 160% of poverty, could afford to pay. So the controversy came with some of the preemption of local zoning. And unfortunately, our local community didn't understand that we were not going to dramatically change what already exists. And that's where the controversy came in. And we have 14 units per acre. That's the highest density in Martin County. And basically it said any workforce housing that was built could go up to what your maximum density that is allowed under your comprehensive plan. The same thing with heights. Whatever the height is of your highest building within a mile of that jurisdiction,
within that
jurisdiction of the community that you're building, that would be the highest height you could go. We have 4 stories in Martin County across the board. So it didn't impact Martin County.
And that's the thing to realize too is, again, because we're within a mile of St. Lucie County or Palm Beach County, depending where you're at, it doesn't count. It's got to be within that jurisdiction.
Within that jurisdiction. So if it's Martin County, it's only Martin County that is affected.
So it is, and it's something that everybody's out there right now. It's talked about a lot yet.
Yes, I understand.
It's interesting to see people as they're trying to use it, and I don't think that they understood completely. There's still restraints with it. It didn't mean unbridled and uncontrolled growth.
It was certainly not unbridled growth by any stretch of the imagination.
So That was a tough one though, because you had a lot of, that's one of the things you got to work together, and you're working with your partners back home and working in
Yes,
Tallahassee.
and that's where you have to listen to your local community, and you have to question when you get to Tallahassee. If you go back and watch the various committee hearings, I really grilled the sponsor
You did on
of
a
it
height.
in order to get very specifically what the implications were to my community.
Right, right. And everybody did that for their own, I'm sure.
And everybody
We're
did
all
that for
different.
their own.
So,
But that's where listening to local people and being able to take those questions to Tallahassee.
so it is interesting. Another thing that I wanted to touch base on that is everybody's worried about, of course, is our FPL bills and home insurance bills.
Oh,
Those two things just seem to keep going up and up and
yes,
up.
yes. Well, fuel prices certainly affect FP&L bills.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about it. And you can see the price of gasoline.
Yes.
You know,
it's, yes.
It's
Yep.
tremendous. But I have to say FP&L has done an amazing job in really moving into solar. And if you look at the solar farms around here, it's amazing. So we are actually, our FP&L bills are much lower than most any other state out there.
Really? Really?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, our electric bills
Okay.
are much lower. So, but insurance,
Yes.
that is an ongoing issue. I know I had moved into Citizens because my insurance more than doubled. I was in Citizens, now I'm getting dumped out of Citizens. And the good news, bad news story on that is we are now seeing some new insurance companies, carriers come into the state.
Oh, that is good.
We had 4 new ones come in the last 2 months. So that's
Really?
good news. And you
Yeah.
get more competition, it will help with insurance rates. But this is a long-term process. We have addressed majorly the fraud that was going on in the system. And then we had 2 special sessions addressing that. This year we addressed truly a lot of the litigation. 76, I think, percent of all litigation in the insurance market in the whole country takes place in Florida.
You're kidding.
No.
76%. That's
76.
a staggering number.
It's a staggering number. And this year we started to address the litigation issue and the tort reform issue. So I think we're on the right track. But again, it takes time for that to shake out and have an impact on the market. Now, if you have a magic crystal ball, and you can say, we're sending the hurricane somewhere else,
Would that be nice?
a magic wand, we could even reduce rates more.
Right, right.
We live in Hurricane Alley,
We do. We do.
and we've had ice storms. I am getting rid of the letter I
Okay.
in the alphabet.
Okay.
Think about it. 2004,
Yes.
Ivan.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Major damage up in
Right.
the Panhandle. Then we had Irma.
Right.
Came all the way across the state, major
I
damage.
remember.
Then we had Ian.
You're right.
You think about Fort Myers and the
Yes.
center. And now we just had Idalia.
Exactly.
So
You're right.
No more eyes,
National
please.
hurricanes. Whoever names the hurricanes, forget it. It's like number 13 with the Apollo missions, right?
Yes.
Number 13. No
No.
more eyes.
No more eyes. No more eyes.
So, but what are you doing with the fraud in particular? Because I think it's still going on out there. So how are we addressing that?
Still going on. In fact, I got a flyer in the mail the other day.
I see them as well. That's why I
Yeah,
asked.
I got another flyer in the mail. And what we really did was to address this whole roof fraud issue, where it happened to my neighbor. They had someone come up after one of these storms we just had. I mean, think about the rain we've just had the last week. Came up after one of these big storms and said, not a hurricane, just a big
Rain. Just a
summer
rain event.
and said, your roof is really in sad shape. You've got a leak going on over here. All this has created the
rain.
problem, the rain. You have a leak. You let me do the inspection, and I'll guarantee your insurance company will get you a new roof. Even though the roof was 25 years old, they didn't need a major repair and whatever, your insurance company will get you a new roof. And then what happens is that when the insurance company balks and doesn't want to do it, because you've assigned your benefits over to that adjuster, and that adjuster now is the one actually
Working with
working
the
with them.
insurance.
Then the adjuster goes and gets an attorney that they already have a relationship
Yep.
with. Then the attorney then sues the insurance company.
What a racket.
And you have by then at least doubled the cost of
Yep.
the claim that probably shouldn't have been a claim to start with.
Right.
Because insurance is not a guarantee. It's not a warranty.
Not for wear and tear, not normal wear and tear,
Not
right?
normal aging and wear and tear. It's for catastrophic incidents that are caused by something
Right.
other than wear and tear.
It's incredible, and it's still going out there. We have just a minute left here today.
Yes.
But Senator Harrell, it has been an absolute pleasure again to have you here on the show. I appreciate you
Absolutely.
coming down
I
here
am
to my
delighted.
fair office. So I've moved a little bit. I don't make it over to the station as much, but we're still on WSTU AM 1450. This show will air tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Don't forget about this weekend. It's
Yes, this
Empowering Women.
and sign up tomorrow.
And the website
Wednesday.
again, one more time.
The website is TCWRCF, Treasure Coast Women's Republican Conference, Federated.
NEF. So definitely that's going to be a great event. Again, $50 to $75 are the tickets. Wonderful event. Make sure tomorrow's the deadline to sign up for that. Senator Harrell, as always, a pleasure, and I can't wait to see what happens again with this session, and we'll be following up with you to see everything that's going on.
Delighted.
Thank you, and I'll see you Thursday at the Treasure Coast delegation at Indian River, the
IRSC.
State College, IRSC at the, is it the Chaplain campus?
Yes, down south.
All right, we'll see you then.
Okay.
Thank you.